All right, so your first page contain these shapes. One is for the fabric, another is for the inside. That's what will help us to mark the area that we're going to sew. And the interface, if you decide to put some interface to give a little bit more weight to your fabric, then this is the one that you want to use. Uh, what's the difference? You may ask. Not much. The only difference between the inside and the interface is just the space on top. This is going to be fold in there, but you can use this one if you would like to. In the second page, you're gonna find the pattern for your necktie. So this one is for the main part, and it says main right here, and then also it's the top. So they're gonna be attached. It will make sense when we put them together. These are for the inside. These little ones, the smallest and the second page, are all the to the shapes that you're gonna cut in fabric, and we're gonna put inside the necktie to just give it some weight. This step may not be necessary, but it makes it look more um, professional, I will say. All right, so and this little device is, if you don't have, which I don't, but if you don't have bias tape like this one, this you can make your own. So this one is to make a final color of 0.75 inches of an inch, or 3/4 of an inch. So that little tool is going to help us. If you do have a bias um, tape maker, with this dimension you don't need this. This one that I have in here makes 1 inch color band. So I'm not going to be using this one today, and this one, it's the one we use for our bigger colors. So materials, what we're gonna need. I have tested several products, and I have finally found the one that actually works for me. At the beginning, this is the one. Let me show you the twill that I use. This one I got from Walmart. So I think it's David Textile. I think it's the brand. We're not sponsored by them by any means. You can use anything. But what it is, it's not too heavy. So it's kind of breathable. It just flex soft and nice and soft. And it doesn't come apart when you cut it. You don't, I mean, there's some like natural little threads that they're gonna come off, but it's not excessive. So that helped me to, and it has some weight where you can actually, because some pieces are small, so when you're sewing you don't want something so, I mean, it looks nice but it moves around, and it's even worse with small pieces, so we don't want that. Previous to that, I found this twill. It looks similar, but this one is heavier. So the problem with heavier material is when you're going to have sharp edges for your collar, it may not be the best to have, because it builds a lot of extra material in when you fold them. So if you're okay with those edges that are not that pointy, I guess you can use one of these. But that's one thing to consider. I also had used before this one, and I thought, oh my gosh, and I bought so much of this. But this one seemed great, but it's too soft for once, and it moves around. It's almost like a silky texture. And when I cut it, it really shreds a lot. So it's kind of hard to work with. But the main thing is kind of like working with a little silky material, which for me it's not the best. So I'm not a professional on this in this matter. So I'd rather work with something that is simple. Okay, so you can use this for your collars, or you can use just the regular cotton, any other fabric. And again, I just get it from Walmart or Hobby Lobby. Have wonderful little beautiful designs as well. So this is another one that I use. But today we're gonna start with the twill, and those are the ones that we have sell a lot in our shop. If you want to visit the ones that we have in there, to make the necktie. Well, for the necktie, we're gonna use this material, and same thing. This one, it's just the ones that you find the most in the regular store. It's cotton, and yeah, this one came from Walmart. So that's for the fabric. Let's just take a look at the things that we need. Well, of course, we're gonna need scissors, right? A lot of people go crazy about the scissors for they have to be particularly used for sewing, for your sewing projects, and it's true. You want to keep that scissor just for that. But you just have regular scissor, and this is just gonna be one of few projects, it's gonna be fine. Use any scissors you have around. If you have this one, great. This is another tool that you can use to cut your fabric as well. It's just a cutter. You can find it in the Amazon. So that's for this. We're gonna use these little pins. I do recommend to use this instead of regular pins like that. So I have stopped using this kind, and these are very easy to move around, and they hold pretty well, and don't, because sometimes when you are trying to poke your fabric, you're moving things around with your little pin. So this one doesn't. It's just very straightforward. You clip and then you're done. For this project, we're gonna use Velcro, same thing. We found it, and this is not, we found it in Amazon, and this is not, but you can find it in any store. This is not the kind that is sticky. Okay, so very important to not to use the one that has sticky. How do I know? Well, because I tried and I broke so many needles, and when I started, I thought, oh my gosh, I discovered powder here. So I thought that was gonna make my project so easy. I don't need to put paint. I just put it there and it's stuck in there. Well, when you go to sew that around, that needle cannot go through because the glue is interfering with the process, and you get a mess and you break a lot of needles. So you don't want to do that. Just use regular without the one sew on. I think it's called Velcro sew on. Okay. I use this a lot, and I do recommend it. If you don't have it, that's fine. You can use any maybe chalk that you may have around to mark your what is it called, your fabric. But it's very useful because I can make any mark and like that, right? And then I just spray a little bit of water when I'm done, and it disappears. It's really like magic. So I find it very practical to use. So, and I like that. This is not necessary, but it helped me to guide certain times. Sometimes I need to sew straight in certain areas. Now, if you have that ability to do it just without any guidance, that's great. But I do sometimes need guidance, and I use this little tape to guide me. So that's for me, I guess. And then let's start. So let me move this over here. So we're gonna use this twill here. Of course, we're gonna need an iron as well. Okay, I'll list all the products we need. Let me put it in here. So sometimes all right, so let me just make sure that you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so we're gonna use the pattern that says fabric. Okay, so just mark your fabric. I just use regular pencils. I'm not Okay, and that's that little, that's how much we are going to use. So we're just gonna cut it, and then we have our pieces. Very tiny little, this is for the tiny little guys. Okay, so we don't need this anymore, and these are the little sleeves. Now we're gonna cut the collar band. Okay, so this one is your collar band, and then we're gonna cut a little piece. All right, I just kind of keep certain parts in here, like when I'm unfolding my wrinkly fabric, so you don't have to go and wait for me to do all that. So, but I do want to kind of show you the best I can the whole process, because sometimes you watch those videos that last like 2 minutes, and it makes it so easy to do, but they just, I think, well, they just skip some of the struggles, you know. So if you're up for some good struggle, then keep watching. Okay, so then with this okay, so this is what we're going to put in the iron. This is going to be our collar band. Okay, so now I'm at the iron board, and then I'm just going to put this little piece that I included with your pattern, and this is going to help me to make the collar band. I put it stuck in here, but you can just hold it, you know, with your hand. You don't need to stick it in anywhere. So, and this is also something that you are going to see with your file, and I will explain what it is. So right now it's not, you're not gonna find exact dimensions because I had to shrink it to fit it in one page, but what it shows you is the placement. So this is your collar, and this is going to be this part. All right, so what I'm doing now is just preparing the collar band. This, we're gonna fit it through this piece of fabric, we're gonna fit through this little device. So right side's gonna go down, and then we're just gonna fold the edges and try to fit it in there. All right. I'm just gonna move this aside here. Okay, so make sure that the extra fabric that it's in there, it gets distributed equally. And once you have it, you're just gonna press. Okay, again, if you have a bias tape that that allows you this 0.75, you can do it 1 inch. It's not that precise, but I have my Velcro at the size of my Velcro is 3/4 of an inch, so that's what I'm making my collar that size. Okay, so we're just going to fit through, making sure it's not moving. All right, so that's all we need this device for. So you can reuse it or something else. So one of the things that I like to use, and I didn't use this for the longest time, but you know, I saw someone on the internet using it, and I thought, how can a piece of wood be, you know, make such a big difference in the sewing? And everybody used it, so I thought, okay, well, I'm just gonna give it a try. Well, what it does is allow you to press the edges. It has to be hot and a little bit humid, and so you press. So you don't have to do it with the heat in your iron and scorching, you know, running into the risk of scorching your fabric. So this one, if I just get it hot and then just press, it really seals the edges. So, but it's not necessary at all. I have been using, I've been working without it for the longest time. So now we're gonna fold it. Okay, so basically it's just a bias tape. So we're gonna make sure, take your time to join the edges. All right, make sure these edges are together. Now I use this one because allows me to press, put some pressure on it, and seal it. All right, so that's the color. Okay, very tiny, and it's gonna get even smaller because we're gonna reduce ½ inch in each side. But so far, this is our color. So now we go with our little pieces. Just iron them so they go the best they can, and the flatter and in the sewing machine. So I'm gonna put him like in. So this is the time that we're going to use our pattern that it says X small inside to mark the you can do it either way. So if I'm gonna start doing long, I guess I will start here. Doesn't matter. So you can see what size it is, I guess. Okay, so we're gonna mark these lines. I don't worry too much because they really don't show in the right side of the fabric unless you're pressing really hard. So we have one, and now we're gonna mark the other. So right side against right side, and then we're going to do the same here. We're gonna mark down all the edges, following our inside pattern. Did I mark this one? Let's see. All right. Make sure that you know where you're gonna end. All right, perfect. Okay, so this is going to go in the sewing machine. All right, things we're going to use here, it's our little scissors, and then just in case you need to undo. And then I'm gonna use a different thread as well, just to make some marks, and I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do with it. Let's see if I can just move it. Okay, so we're gonna grab our garment, our fabric, and then we're going to, I'm using my Singer Heavy Duty, and what we want to do is a short length stitch. So I'm putting the length to number 2. So my foot, it's one that has the one side a little longer and the other side a little shorter. I'll show you up there here a picture of it. Okay, so so we're gonna start here. Make sure that we do back and forth. We go 1, 4. Okay, if we go all the way straight, until we hit that corner. Once we get to that corner, we're gonna grab one of these thread, any color, any thread, just, all right, and then we're gonna pass these through the fabric, and then we're gonna press down. So making sure that your thread's all the way in. Okay, so when you do the next stitch, it's gonna pass through that thread that you just put in there, and then it's gonna go over. So I'm gonna do one more, and my needle is down, so I'm gonna lift my foot, and I'm gonna grab this, you know, the thread, and I'm gonna open the fabric, and it's so much light, I think. And then I'm going to sandwich. I'm gonna sandwich this inside like that, and then now put my foot down, and I continue it following the line. Once I get to the other corner, right on the corner, right there, and if you need to just maybe just a little bit to get to that corner, change the length of your stitch and make you get there. Okay, another piece, another thread. Once your needle it's down, once your needle it's down, we're gonna, same thing, we're going to pass this this thread through like a sandwich. We're gonna put it in between the fabric. Okay, we want to trap it, so we're gonna do one stitch, make sure it's exactly where where it was. One more, needle it's down, I'm gonna lift my foot, grab these two thread, well, one thread, but the two pieces, and then just keep it inside but out of the way, and then I keep going. Why is this is just a little trick. It's not necessary, but I will consider it really necessary. But it is it will help you to have nice and crispy edges, sharp edges, instead of just round ones. Okay, so we're gonna do the same here. We're going to okay, I'm almost there. Let's see, one more stitch. I just shortened a little my stitches to get there. I think I can use maybe one. I like to be precise in there. Okay, so then another piece of this fabric, thread that goes in between the fabrics, the pieces of fabric, sorry. Go down, one, lift, grab these two pieces and get them out of the way through inside. Put this back and continue sewing. Make sure these guys are out of the way. So we're almost there. Okay, and the last one, same thing. So we're gonna have to do this 4 times. So we're gonna put this through and one stitch more and grab these things, pass it through this fabric down, and that's it. We're done with this piece. Interface, let's talk about it. In this one we're gonna use very thin one. um, I don't like it. I like it to have some weight, but not too heavy. So if you're okay with not interface, then you can skip this step. But I'm going to put. I usually put interface in all of my colors. So I'm going to use this, and the way we're gonna cut it is one side looking straight at your pattern, and the other we're gonna flip the pattern. Kind of cut it, maximizing the space like that, I guess. So and that's what we're gonna cut it. Okay, so for this one, for me it's just gonna use this pattern, but you can use your scissors. Okay, we have one piece. And then we have the other now in a minute. Doesn't have to be this particular brand, but do have like something that it's kind of easy to work with, because a little bit of this can get into the also the corners and make it tough to turn. Okay, so these are my pieces in here, so let's go and now iron them. Now before you iron, I like to cut them. I like to cut because now I can see clearly the lines. Sometimes after I put this, I really don't know where was the line, so I don't want to cut too short. But you want to cut your corners, especially close to the edge. Make sure when you're cutting, don't want to cut the lines, that the thread that you were using to hold those corners, okay? But like any and like in any sewing project that has corners, you want to trim those, okay? Particularly in your corners, okay? So we did that one. I'm gonna do this corner right here. You don't have to just if you want, you can do just the these two corners, okay? So now I'm gonna put one side, one in the other, okay? So we're gonna stick them in there with some heat. We're gonna iron them. This one only needs heat to just heat and press, and you're good. And we're almost done with these sleeves, okay? So now we're gonna fold them. Okay, we're gonna bring it forward, right side up, right side out. Okay, so what I do is I put my thumb in, and then my middle finger, and then I, press like that, and then I'm gonna turn and poke, and then pull everything as much as I can. You wanna grab now with your other hand, you wanna grab this and this. You don't wanna pull hard, you just wanna go slowly pulling that corner. If comes all the way you don't like it, you can always go back to it. Make sure that you cut it correctly. That is, oh, maybe I can remove some piece or something, right? Let's see. So thumb, index, middle, grabbing here, and then just slowly bring it in there. Okay, So we do the same thing on the other side. This one is a 90 degree, it should be easier. So it's a little bit more open. Okay, and that's it. That's your sleeve. Okay, very tiny. All right, it's a tiny guy. So we wanted to do this one. Okay, so we're gonna, now for this particular project, if you are ironing and you want to be careful not to scorch your fabric, because you're gonna be tempted to, you know, try to press hard, and that's where this thing is handy, because without the heat you can go and kind of flatten those area. But you can also use another piece of fabric, put it in there, and then do the same thing, you know, kind of press a little hard. Okay, so this is one. We're gonna do the other. Soften a little before I bend it. So thumb and middle finger goes in, bring all you can, left hand, thumb and index, press. So, and we don't pull hard, we just kind of wiggle, right? The other should be better, should be easier, but same thing. You wanna press and then go like that. Okay, so we are going to iron now, and then we're gonna press your sleeve. I think I'm gonna move this one a little here. Sometimes if you apply just heat, it may scorch the fabric, because we really want to flatten those all right. Okay, so we have now our sleeves. Now I like to use the side that has the interface. I like to put it up. This is going to be right here. Okay, now this is the time we can remove this, guys. I'm going to wait until I do the last stitch, but right now there's not really need. So we're gonna go to the sewing machine again, and we're going to stitch 1/4 of an inch around the edges. Okay, so we're gonna use number 3 for the stitches around, and for everything else that it's visible, so any stitch that it's gonna be visible. Okay, so we're gonna put this right on the edge, and then go down, and you just have to follow that line. And then once I'm getting close to the corner, then I can turn and go this way. All right, now I use a silly trick, but I mean, you can put anything just to guide you in there. I'm just gonna use this wood ruler. I just like to use something that guides me, and it keeps it. But I can just do it by hand. Let's do it by hand. I got so used to use any little, all these little tools for everything, that sometimes it's weird when I don't. Okay, so then I go to here, and then I'm going to, same thing. You follow that line, and that's what you got. That's the end of your stitch. We're gonna do now this side, same thing. We're gonna use that ruler, see what's the, let's show you how I do it with that. Now remember, when you're stitching this side like this, do the opposite, because they are going to, you want, there's always a stitch that it looks nicer in front and the back doesn't. I mean, it does look nice, but it just look different. So this is the one that you know it's the right side, and then you want to start the other the opposite way. Okay, so we're gonna start, and so now I put my little ruler in there and I just let it go. I just have to make sure that I'm aware of the turn. So I'm getting very close, but not there. So I think number 2 would do, and then I turn. These little things sometimes help me to move the corners, but that's why I keep them in there. But there is no other reason anymore for that. All right. So then I go here again, and then the last part. Now, if you put anything, whether it's a roll that it's a little sticky, now make sure this is gonna go up and down. You don't want to put your finger in there and smash your finger. Okay, so I don't want to put my finger right there because this is gonna go up and down, up and down. It's just gonna smash my finger. All right. Oops. All right. That's it. Okay, so now we're back here at our iron table, and then now there's no point to have this in there. So gently, without pulling hard, we'll remove it. Okay, and now we're going to find the middle point from our collar. So we're gonna fold it in half, and then with something removable, you're gonna mark half. Okay. Once you have your half, let's put that one here. Got a little mark in there. All right. So once we have found half. Now this measurement doesn't have to be like super precise. You can play, with them. And then one thing I like to is to remove any excess of thread. Now it's the time to kind of clean it up. This is what's gonna go inside your collar, and then you're not gonna be able to remove it after. So you wanna clean that up now. All right, so what I do is I measure a gap in between the collar of 25, just roughly 25, 25, I mean 3/4 of a inch. This is where we're gonna use our clips. So we're gonna place the collar in here. That's where we're gonna decide. It's just about like 0.25 of an inch in there, and then we're gonna clip and clip and clip. Okay, and then we're gonna sew in there. So now we're back to the iron table, and then we want to place the other evenly. So what I do is I fold it in half again. Make sure my collars are exactly going at the same, the edges are touching, they're together. And then I'm going to place this. Where did it come from? This, okay. This little guy right there. And we're gonna clip it. 1 and 2, just 3. And then we're gonna do the same thing we did, and then take it to the sewing machine. And I'll bring it back here. Okay, so now we're going to iron this part again. Now it's up to you if you want to put it a little closer. I usually give a distance of 3/4, but you can just adjust. It's according to your likes. Okay. Now make sure to take your time in this one. Let's see, I'm gonna get rid of this because these are little threads and they're gonna show. Okay, we can always get rid of them later, but why not now, right? So And don't worry, any of those blue marks, they will just disappear with a little bit of water. Cold water, yes, because hot water doesn't do much. All right. So that's that. Now I want you to go with me and see how we're gonna put this together. In this one, I really want you to look how we're gonna place this color. So remember this little, and we haven't changed our footprints, by the way. So this little bar that it's in this foot press, it's gonna be out now, off the right on the edge. Okay, so we're going to go just like that. If we saw right now as the needle is there, it's going to be on the edge and somewhere be out, right? That's why we're gonna move our needle to the inside where your fabric is. One moving to the left. Well, in my case, to the right, right? It just goes to the left. So you press down, and we're going to, again, we're gonna put number 3 because this is our final stitch. So we'll go back and forth, and then we make sure that it stays in there. Once you get into this, let's say the color and this stuck in there, make sure your needle is down, lift your foot, and then pass that little bump in there and then press it down. So now you can continue. Same thing in here. If that happens, make sure your needle's down, lift your foot, and then pass that. I can't see part of it because the camera is kind of my way, but that's fine. So so that it's almost the final part. We're gonna do the top, but we're gonna iron first. Okay, we're going to, you see me iron it a lot because if it does matter, it helps your fabric to stay in place. So this is kind of an important step. Okay, so we do the same thing. You take this to the sewing machine. Okay, so now we're here again, and we're gonna do the same thing. The edge is gonna be right aligned to this bar, and then we're gonna start stitching with number 3 along the edges. You always want to make sure you have thread, because sometimes you have a nice run with your machine and oops, no thread. All right, so that's that. So you can see now that what's gonna happen is we're gonna fold, you know, we haven't attached yet the Velcro, but this is gonna go down, and then these two are going to join in the back. And how cute is that? All right, we're back here, and then this diagram is going to just kind of give you an idea of what's happening and how you're going to put together. So your collar, it's certain length this is not the real size. So then you have this collar, and this is going to be this green bars show you that you're going to fold it half of an inch each side. Okay, so this is the size of your Velcro. So we're gonna cut our Velcro at 2.75. So we have, I'm gonna cut just to make it straight, and then we're gonna mark 2.75. Okay, making sure there are thread both sides. And now the other side. And then we're going to put them together. Even though it's a small little guy, I like to give him a little bit of space to connect the Velcro. I mean, if you think it's maybe too much, you're you know, maybe you can do 2.5, which is not much of little, and then just adjust accordingly the ends. But you want to, but I prefer to use it just that size. Okay, so we said that our final length need to be 10 inches. How do we get this number? Well, if the dog neck size measurement it's 7.25, and we have to add to this value the size of the extra Velcro that it's going to close. So then we're adding 2.75, which means these two together add to 10 inches, and that's our final size. Now your fabric, when you cut it, it was 11 because we add 1 inch, half inch each size, and that's what we're going to fold. Okay, hope this is not too difficult, but let's just go back to it. When you cut your fabric, this is your fabric, right? This is your fabric. So your fabric original was 11 inches, right? 11 inches. And then, but you know your dog's neck measurement, it's 7.25. So the final length is going to be 10 because we're going to reduce half an inch in each side. So you're going to get to 10, right? And now it's going to reduce even more because when we put the Velcro, it's going to overlap. So it's going to take 2.75 or whatever the size of your Velcro to this final length. So if the final length right now it's 10 minus the size of the Velcro, which is 2.75, then you have the size of your pet, it's 7.25. So that's how we have calculate our size. So okay, so I'm going to fold it half an inch in each size, and I'm just going to mark. Now you want to look at your fabric and see those right stitches, okay? So the right side's going to fold forward while this one is going to fold backwards like that, okay? So one is up, the other it's down. Or you can do the same if you bring it like this, if you fold it like that, and then you can fold it this way. But the final idea is you're gonna have 10 inches after you fold it. Okay, so I'm using my just fabric glue here, and I'm gonna let it sit for a few minutes so it just dries. So I'm gonna remove the clip, and I'm just going to put a little bit of glue, not much. And then with the same stick, I just put too much in there, but with the same stick, you want to kind of hold it and help you to fold it so it's straight. And then just remove the stick. You can press it with your clips. And then you do the same thing on the other side. You put a little bit of glue in there. Just it a little. And then with a little stick in there, just fold it and keep it straight, and then remove the stick, and then it's straight in there. All right, so, and I'm gonna put another stick in here. Okay, so this is what we have. So we're just gonna let it sit there. Now, if I can, I'm gonna trim, because I give it half of an inch, because you kind of need some fabric to work with. You can always cut it after, right? So it's just a little. So now I'm at the point that I want to cut it, so I'm confident that I'm not gonna run out of fabric. So you can cut, because this part doesn't have glue, so it's just the edge in there. So you just want to cut a little bit of the excess, so then you have this, and you do the same in the other side, and then you cut carefully, right? And then you have this like that. This is a good time to put also your Velcro. Now the Velcro is 3/4 of an inch, so it's our color band. So they should be running, you know, should be smooth. They should fit perfectly. So I'm gonna put some in the middle. This the sewing machine is not going to, we're not gonna really go in the middle when we sew, but you still wanna let it dry. If you have a different technique, just not using glue on this particular part, welcome to use it. I just feel like for me it's better, and I let them dry, so I don't go and take it to the machine right now. So it doesn't take that long. Okay, so one side you have you're looking at your color like this, right? And at the right side, the one that was folded to this way, and the right side up, I guess, no, folded so you can see the fold. You're gonna put in this side the soft part, okay? And in the other side, if you can flip it like that, or if you don't want to flip it, you can do it like this, and then you're gonna work in it. So you're gonna put the other piece, the rough piece, okay? And it fits perfectly fine because we have done 0 point. We've done our homework. So it's 0.75. We're gonna leave it there. So while this is drying, start working on something else. Okay, we're just gonna let it dry. How cute is that? This guy's gonna look awesome. Okay, so we're gonna let this dry, and we're gonna work on our necktie. For the necktie, we just don't need this anymore. We're through with our little diagram. So for the necktie, we're gonna need two patterns. This weird thing and our rectangle. These are optional, okay? But you will see how we're gonna use them, okay? So, okay. So we're gonna use, let's say, this fabric, right? Well, when you have a fabric that has certain pattern, you have to be careful where you're gonna cut it, okay? Because you don't want to cut it where your necktie has straight lines like this. The idea is to have diagonal. So make sure, like if I go and cut it like this, I have just straight lines. So follow your find the how you want your pattern. In this particular case, I'm gonna cut it like this, and then I'm gonna show you. I want the lines to go from left to right. So you position your pattern. I think there's like that. No. Best. Nope. Keep trying, Jessica, keep trying. Let's see. What was it? I have cut it so many, let's see. This is for my rectangle. So I think we're gonna, okay. So here we are. So if I put my pattern in here, this is where the necktie at the end is going to fold. So imagine the necktie is like here. So the lines are gonna go this way. Is that how I want it? Then you ask yourself, and if that's what you want, then you leave it like that, okay? If it's a different way that you want your patterns, then position with that in mind. Okay, so if I put it like that, I got my patterns going this way. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. I just flip the pattern just because I put the sticker in here doesn't mean you have to put it that way. In this particular case, I'm putting it this way. So mark your fabric. Where's my... Okay, we're just gonna use this. I hope I can see it. And we're gonna cut. That's for that. And then now we're gonna cut a rectangle. Same thing, look for diagonals because that's how your pattern is following in a diagonal way. So, oops. Oh, all right. Oh, that was bad. Okay, so we're gonna cut first our pieces. And then we're gonna go to the iron board to flatten our fabric and to fold them. And you see how we're gonna ensemble this together. Here's two pieces to make it look like they're the little loop. Okay, instead here and this little part here. Perfect. So now we go to the iron board. Okay, so we are here now and we're going to iron this. Just give it a little, flat. So it's not wrinkly when we try to, sew it. So what we're gonna do now is look at your fabric straight, you look at the print and fold it like this. Okay, corner to corner and then flat. And we're gonna go on the machine and we're gonna sew 0.25 of an inch, right? How did you know? Well, if you fold it like that, there is an excess of material here. You can mark it if you want, but I don't have to be that precise. I know it's 0.25, so I leave it like that. And this one is going to be sewed this way. So let's go to the sewing machine. Okay, so I tried to position the camera in a better way. So for this stitch, inside stitches, I like to do it tighter. So we're gonna use number 2, length, for the length. And well, last time I did, I moved my needle to the left. So I'm just gonna leave it as original supposed to be, right on the gap. Okay, so hold my head's not in the way because I need to sew here. Go back and forth, and then nice. In that particular, make sure you go straight in that end because that's your pointy little for the tie. So now the top, we're going to same thing, 1/4 of an inch goes in there. And that's the 2 pieces that make a tie. All right. Okay, back in the iron. Let's see if this is running. Yeah. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna now this seam is going to be in the middle. So we're gonna open it, and with the iron, we use a lot the iron. So be ready. So because honestly, for any type of sewing that you want sort of like, I guess, professional look, you want to press your edges as long as you are sewing. So I'm going to cut just a little bit in here, the little corner, right? So then, and I'm going to bring this way, and maybe with a little bit of something pointy but not sharp, just bring your point out. I'm going to use this ruler just to kind of bring the edges all the way in. Yeah, there you go. All right, so now we're gonna iron. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to put this together just like that, and we're gonna take this back to the sewing machine and we're gonna sew along this way. Okay, I'll do that, and I have to explain something, so then I'll take you with me. All right, I like to start, first of all, you want to make sure that these are together right on the edge, because this is the back of your necktie, and so it's just going to show. So you don't want one, you don't want something like this, where they're not even. So hopefully that's not how it turns out, but so if you are too afraid, you can maybe just do a stitch it, like cheat a little, just with your hand, just kind of put them in place or something, or even put very tiny little glue where the needle is not going to pass by. But for the most part, it should be fine. You just have to just join two edges together, and then I like to start not right here, because my thread's gonna be out in here and it's gonna show when I turn it the other way. So I start a little bit like here, like maybe just a few millimeters, all the way into the fabric. And then when I stitch back, then I bring back and sew all the way down. So when I cut the thread, it's the end, it's not right on this edge. I'm gonna show you what I mean when it's done. So I put my fabric in here. So I'm just gonna put it in there like that. All right. And like here, for instance, there if for whatever reason something moved, or you can always kind of clear your edges, it's so just so you can see where you're sewing. Okay, so I'm going to put the machine a little bit into the fabric already. Okay, I'm gonna use number 2 as my stitch, and I go back and forth, and I'm gonna go all the way here. All right, and I cut. Now, if you can see what I meant, it's that I start here. You see this thread? That's the beginning. So when I cut it, the stitch, it's inside the fabric and not hanging out there. Okay, because this is going to go like this, and I don't like to see any edges, any thread in there. So all right, so let's go back to the iron board again. Okay, so what we're gonna do here now, this is what you have. So we're going to open it. So make sure that it's a tiny piece, so be patient. So I'm just gonna secure the this part first, and I'll work the other around. Just want to open, right? And then you should open this as well. Like that. Be careful when you work with steam irons, because it burn you. Okay, so that's what you have. Now you have to now I give you these 2 patterns, and this is to do the inside. Okay, this is where it's gonna go inside your little necktie. So we're gonna cut. It can be same. In fact, we're gonna use the same twill that we use for the color. It doesn't have to be nothing um, um, nothing special. So some people use like a, you know, the you know, very soft material, but really it's just not going to make a difference in here. So we're gonna cut this. Now this is supposed to be here. Now this one is a little wider, so I'm just going to reduce a little bit, because probably when I fold it in some point in there. Okay, so yep, that's that. So as long as you measure and then you're good, and inside your the boundaries, you should be good. So we're gonna take this to the sewing machine. Okay, so the way that we're going to position this is make sure that we have it there where you want it, and we're going to put it down and open. And what we're gonna sew is this little edge, the little excess of fabric at the edge with the fabric that we just cut and put in there. So for that, we're gonna use maybe number 4 or 3. This is not a stitch that in fact you may want to do it maybe 3 or 4, because if for some reason you got it wrong, you can always go back, pull it easy, and restitch. But if you are not afraid, just go and use. Now, how long? All the way down? No, you want to do it right before, well, not right before, a little bit higher than the fold. Okay, so right here will be fine. And I'll tell you why, because I'm gonna cut this. Because when you go back, what you're gonna have to do is to bring this to the right side. The right side, we're gonna bring it out, and then you have this little thing sticking out in here that is going to be all the way tucked in. Okay, so if you sew all the way through here, you can't put them inside. So we're going to open this little pocket in here and put this inside. Try to put it in there, and then we're gonna iron it. Okay, so that's the first part. Now for this one, we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna put your inside part like against your machine so it doesn't move, and then we're gonna sew. Oh no! All right. Just gonna put this back really quick in there. I'm probably gonna have to cut this, because who enjoyed some woman's head in the middle of a recording? Struggling with a needle. Okay, so let me see. It didn't move. Yeah, it moved a little. So we're gonna do it again. Are you there? Yeah, yeah. Okay, so the idea is just to put it some like a extra fabric on top of your necktie. All right. So that's what we have. So same thing, we're going to bring this right side out, and then we're gonna go in the iron, and then we're gonna assemble it together. And I'll show you how. Okay, so we're back at our iron, clean a little, our iron table, and then we're gonna press the top part. So make sure that this, where your stitches are now in the middle. We have well water, so it does sometimes, have a lot of little things in my iron. Okay, so that's this. How cute is that? Okay, so we're going to fold this in half right here, and we're going to measure 1 inch from this fold all the way down. 1 inch. We're going to mark right there, and then we're going to sew diagonal this way. All right, and I'll bring it here. We're going to use length, same thing, 2 inches, number 2 long, or whatever is shorted. So I think the key is, regardless what sewing machine you have, the key will be to anything that it's inside that goes inside to hold the actual the fabric. It should be shorter length, not super short, but kind of short. And then decorative or something like a final touch, you can use 3. That will do. I mean, at least 1 higher than the one that you use inside. Okay, so I'll bring it here in a minute. So that's that, and now we're going to bring this, and this is what you're gonna have. Don't mind the other marks, just all right. So now we're gonna press this part, and then we're gonna put them together like this. We're gonna press first. I'm gonna give it just a little press. There we go. Not much magic. And then we're gonna put this together like that. And we're gonna put some couple clips in here to hold the two pieces together. And now we're gonna measure 4.5 inches, which is what I want from the bottom all the way to the top. That should be kind of my mark. Okay, so making sure this is straight, right? And this is where I'm going to use this tape. I do like this tape because it helped me to guide me to where to sew. So I'm going to place him right there. Once you make sure this is like, I want to take my time to really put this and make sure it's straight and even. And now we'll put the tape. Okay, so all right, so that's it's just gonna indicate, it's just a mark for me to tell me where I'm gonna sew. So I'm gonna use stitch number 2 and I'll bring it back here. All right, straight out of the sewing machine. So we're just gonna cut the little thread. This one got all jump in there, but that's okay. It's just not gonna show. And you don't need to cut, from edge to edge. You don't need to sew all the way from here to there, right? As long as you are securing these 2 pieces, which is this one is narrow. So, but since I'm sewing from here, I really can't see. So anyway, so that's our necktie. And the way that it's going to look is once you have it attached to your to your collar, you're gonna bring this inside like so, and it makes it look like there's a little tie in there. So it will go here, and there you go. There you have it. Okay, so but before we do that, we need to make sure this is open. Okay, so we're not and now we're going to sew the edges around here, and I want you to come with me to see how we're gonna do this. This is our final step, and so we're going to do a stitch all around the Velcro. Okay, so we're going to put number 3. We're gonna stick our needle all the way down, and then we're gonna go around. Once we're getting close to it, we want to turn, lift. If you're too off, like maybe not enough to place, well, come back. You can come back maybe with whatever you think it will do to get you in the right track. Usually the Velcro have the edges where there is nothing, no fuzz or no rough area. That's for you to sew on. Okay, so we're gonna put this down, and I like to cut these little things that are out of the way. Oh, goodness. Okay, that was a mistake in there. So now we're gonna bring them here. See, a little bad? Not that terrible, huh? Okay, so, well, this is just gonna be for testing anyway. So we'll bring one forward. Okay, so we'll continue. Just gonna do one more. When you have a small little pieces, you're gonna have to make sure that you are on target. Okay. If I go maybe one, very little, and then I go to 3, that will do. Okay, so I can go one more with 2 to reach that corner, and I think I'm good in there. Let's go 2 more. And then I'm gonna go 1 more to just be a little bit on top of the other stitch, just to make sure we're just playing around here, making sure that we're getting that Velcro well attached to our collar band. Okay, well, any excess just remove. Okay, so that's one side. Let's do the other. So then kind of lift. I go, my foot is up, and I like to put my needle right where I see it there, and now press down, because it really is a small area. So making sure we're in 3, for a little, and then manually I go to the edge. Can I do? I'm right on it in a perfect spot. So then I keep going. Okay, and then now I still can go. If I put maybe, it's just like a addition problem here. You just have to make it to the edge, but not all the way to the edge, just where you have at least a few millimeters to sew inside the Velcro. Okay, so let me see where I'm at here. I still have plenty. I think I can go, I'm gonna go slow. Smart move. So I'm gonna go with 1. And now we're gonna turn, and then it's back to 3. And this, you wanna cut before the other guy comes, because then they get together and it's a mess. Okay, so we're gonna do maybe 1 more. We're gonna go by 1s in here because we're very close to the edge, and then we'll put back at 3. We're almost done, and then we cut. Okay, so that's it. That's all it is. So now, if you look at your collar like this, where the soft part is, this is gonna go like this, down, and it's going to come and wrap. Okay, so your neck, your little guy's neck is gonna be here. All right. Now we're gonna attach the belt. Sorry, the necktie. All right, here we are at the last step. So you're looking at your collar, right? So the soft part is in here. So this time we're gonna flip it. Okay, we're gonna flip it, and then you're looking at the left side, this rough part in here. And so now we're going to put the necktie, we're gonna flip it forward like that. You can put a clip just to kind of show you where it's going to fold, I guess, hang it in there. But the idea here is to put it, it should match the middle, your blue mark or whatever mark you put here right in the middle, it should mark with this in a perfect world. But I like to double check and make sure that when I bring my my sleeves down, it's gonna be right in the middle. It's not like one sleeve is going to be like, you know, the necktie is way to the left. So right there, it's fine. So I'm going to secure them now. So with a clip, I grab the necktie and the collar on one side, and then the necktie and the collar in the other. Okay, now I open, and with my little tape, I'm going to mark. You see how, I'm going to tell you where I'm going to, so, because I'm just going to mark it. So it's going to be somewhere in here. I don't go all the way from edge to edge. I go inside, start here and I end in here. Okay, and I'm going inside. All right, so, and I like to mark myself with the tape. I usually put it like that, whatever way works for you. If marking with a marker works, then that's great. Make this little thinner so it fits. Okay, so I think it's also because it feels like I'm also guiding me, like if the certain amount of inches evenly from one, I don't know, but you get the idea. So okay, so I'm going to go to the sewing machine. Actually, we can go together. All right, so we brought our collar and necktie. So, and we put our marking here, and we're gonna start a little bit inside. And we're going to use number 3 as our stitch. Wrap it down because this one is going to show. Okay. I go also double right in the middle. Why? I don't know. It's really not necessary. Unless you have really a, I don't know, a dog that is just gonna chew apart this. I doubt it. So anyway, some steps are really up to the individual. So we're gonna take that over there, but the stitch, it's like this on the back and then like this inside, so it's not all the way. Okay, so and then now we're going to pass this through. Okay, we just do it there, I guess. So and then we'll bring this all the way in, and then you have your necktie. And it covers, the dimensions are so that the sleeves cover the end like that. And also, because if you put it correctly, there. And it also is just covering, sort of goes and then kind of in here, just like that. That's kind of the idea. But that's it. That's our little necktie. And then let's bring a little toy and see how they look. Okay, I found this very loved stuffed animal, so we're gonna try this on him. So well, let's measure first. Right, let's see the dimensions of this little guy. Okay, so when you take measurements for the to know which necktie size you need for your pet, you're going to take you're gonna measure around his neck, right? Very soft, and then you're gonna put your finger in there. Okay, so this guy, it's almost 9.75 with my finger in there, so 9.75 will do. Okay, so it will be loose, not loose but breathable. So at 9, let's see, 9.75 will be just fine. All right, so that's the size you should do. Now this one is smaller. This one, it's 7.725. It's not gonna fit this guy, so we need to find another. I'll be back. Okay, I found a few guys in here, so we're gonna start with, he's too big for this necktie. We'll make you one. So this guy used to be a little bit more firm, but it has been very loved. He have a good life, but the neck is not holding that well. So his neck, it's about, just living with it some space, will be 7.25, right? After being squished so many times. So maybe we can put, oh, and then by the way, I just want to remind you that these little things, the white, the blue stuff, you spray and they're gone, right? So this should fit him perfectly. And there you have it.